Hey everyone, it's still running around outside here. Just got done raining. Been doing a couple videos. I figure I'd do a couple right now while I'm outside before the mosquitoes come back out. And I thought a lot of people were curious about my solar, the full solar hookup. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to show you guys the solar right now. What the solar is, and we're at the edge of the house. So right now we have the solar panels. Yeah, you can't see them, but we're going to run up this ladder right here in just a minute. But I'm going to show you what happens. So you got the power coming down right now, and it comes into this guy. This is the main switch, and from here, and what this is actually the charge controller. Now what happens here is you have this DC voltage coming down, you know, from the solar panels, comes into this guy here, and then from there, see, this one comes over, goes into the house right here. This is where I have the battery backup. So on the inside here, we have the battery, so it comes in here, charges up the batteries. But what it also does, any extra power that it has, once the batteries get charged, any of the extra power, then it comes over into here, goes through a disconnect. This is just simple on off. You can kill the whole system, and then it comes back out of here and then comes down here. Now this is an inverter, and what this inverter does, Solar Edge, that's the name of the company, and what this inverter does is it is connected via this guy to run back through the house and all the way up to the breaker box. Because what the inverter does is it makes a sine signal and matches it to the incoming power from the electric company. So ours is a hybrid system. We can go off of solar, or we can go off of the grid. So, and then from here you can see this comes over. This is the actual meter. Now if you want to take a look at the meter here, it says, let's see if it's 1263 is what we've received. And come on. And we've delivered 1661, and we've used, we've delivered 1661, and we've received 1263. So that means that we've you generated more. And so anyway, what this does, so this has a signal coming from it. This is your normal electrical from the grid. So it comes in, is hooked to this. Now this inverter matches, I don't remember if it's the inverter or if it's the charge controller that matches it. No, it's the charge controller. So what happens in a normal system, if you don't have batteries, what happens is the charge controller, or I'm sorry, the inverter here, let me see, the power from the solar panels comes down directly into the inverter that's connected to the grid, basically. The problem with that is if something happens to the power, the inverter needs to see that signal coming in. And if it doesn't see a signal coming in from here, although it's the middle of the day, you're charging tons of power, you'll lose all power because it doesn't know what to do. It doesn't see this signal, so it shuts everything down. So you have solar panels on a nice sunny day and you can't use power. Really aggravating. So if you have the battery backup on the inside, then this guy has a signal that matches this guy. So if this one ever loses a signal, it doesn't matter because the charge controller is feeding your inverter that same signal and it keeps going. So you can run without power. Normally, if you don't have a battery backup, you can't run. Then all you're doing is generating tons of power during the day. This is running, the meter's running backwards, and then at night it's going forwards. I have all these mosquitoes around here. So we're gonna go upstairs and take a look here real quick. And I'm going to show you guys the app here if I can, because I can actually monitor it from anywhere anywhere in the world. So I'm going to come up here, right into the sun. That's nice. And so right here, we got the edge, we're at the corner, and two rows, solar panels all the way across, pretty much all the way to the edge of the house. We run into a little bit of problem during the winter about this tree's kind of in the way, although this time of year not really. And then in the evening, those trees there kind of block it over there a little bit earlier than they should have. However, at that point, the sun's low enough that it doesn't really, I wouldn't gain a whole lot by taking those trees out. All right, we are back inside right now, and coming back here, and what I'm doing is I'm coming back to the batteries. Now this is actually going to be JJ's room when she gets here. Now you can see a couple of things ready to go. And so what I have here now, there's the router, and each one of these are a battery. And you can see they're LG, two of them right there. Now this one is actually bad. It was having a problem, and it was a new style, and there's a 25-year warranty on these things. and all of a sudden it stopped working. Well, when that one stopped working, it stopped letting this one work as well. And so we called the guy, came out, he's like, yeah, sure enough, it's bad. And so we're waiting on it, but we had to wait 3 months to get the first one, so we're probably gonna have to wait 3 months to get this one. You know what, it is what it is. It's not ideal, but you know, the system is still working. So system's still working. We don't have as much battery backup as I'd like, but that'll be taken care of. So you can see right here, that's where it actually goes out, where I was showing you into the charge controller. Comes in, hits this guy, and then goes right over, and then hits this guy right here. You know, right there, that one. And each one of these are 9.6 kilowatt hours is what they hold, or 9.6 kilowatts, so 19.2 kilowatts is what it has right now. And it's usually enough, unless the air conditioning is running all night long. If it's sunny during the day, which by the way, it takes, on a nice sunny day, it takes about 3.5, 4 hours to charge both of these. And then generally right at 6 in the morning is when they run out. Now it depends. If the air conditioning is not on, like during April and you know, November, because November in Georgia is pretty mild, and even some of December was last year. What happens was, there's a dog, see what I'm doing? No, generally, like they only go down to like 65% at night. I mean, it doesn't use very much of them when you're not running the AC or the heat all the time. But when you are, like right now, we're having huge production. Like we're generating about 60 kilowatts a day. Yeah, on the good days where there's no clouds really or anything else, then we'll generate upwards of about 60 kilowatts, which is a lot. I mean, that's a whole bunch. Usually every month we've been averaging like 1.7, 1.7 kilowatts, 1.6 kilowatts, something, or I'm sorry, megawatts per month, which has been going pretty well. And we get nice storage out of this. We did have the power go out this morning, and since this battery, the only good one right now, it was already depleted, so we still lost power, so that's why we need both of them. I mean, the power only went out for a little bit, but it was kind of funny when we came to sign the paperwork for the loan and everything to get the solar system started. Our power had just gone out, so the solar salesman was over here, and we were signing everything by candlelight. He thought that was kind of funny. He's like, you know, this is going to be a story, right? And I'm like, yeah, that's fine. So that's the whole system. We'll go through the what the app looks like here just a little bit. All right, so now what we're going to do is I'm just going to go through the app here real quick just to show you exactly how this works. First of all, it's with Solar Edge is the name of the company that has the inverter and the charge controller and all those good things. Now you notice it is 8:35 my time, so right now there's 0.08. Well, that's almost nothing. You know, it's nothing. And you see the battery down here is 19%. It's already discharged. It was a real cloudy day today. It never even got fully charged. And that happens sometimes, although most of the time it doesn't happen. And you can see over on the left here, this is what you're drawing. Right now we're drawing 5.91 kilowatts. The water heater, Steph actually is taking a shower right now, so the water heater is drawing most of that. And then on the right, you can see that tower. That's actually what we're drawing from the grid. And you can see we're just barely generating anything. Like, it's almost fully dark outside. We're just getting reflections, which is why this is really low. And you can see the battery's discharged. It got up a little bit higher today, but anyway, you can look at our production. The system production, this left column here is that's for the month. Let's do for the day. So today we only generated 30.5. That's really low. That's only that's about half of what it normally is. Normally we're around 57, 58, something like that. Let's go back. I'm going to go back a couple of days here. Yesterday was cloudy. There's a 50. I'm not going to do that because we've been having a lot of rain lately and a lot of cloudiness. So you can see our consumption is 35 kilowatt hours and our production is 30.5. Well, that means it's still only 4.5 kilowatt hours, and we're at 12 cents kilowatt hour. So, okay, so we're around 60 cents, 50 cents for the day is 60 cents, somewhere along, anyway, right around there. So that's what it costs us for the day. That means at the end of the month, if we keep up at this rate, we're going to owe $18. Now, it's not exactly true. When you're talking to the salesman, they're going to say, oh, well, we can do away with your bill so you don't have a bill and you might even, get paid for it. No, that doesn't happen. The reason why is because, like, for example, we have a light pole, and the light pole is $12 a month. Well, and we have a meter connection fee, and you have to be in the state of Georgia. You have to be connected to the grid. You can't go off grid. If your house is zoned as residential, you have to have a meter, and well, that's automatically here. It's like $37 or $40 or something like that, just to be connected to the grid. It's a meter fee. And then the lowest you can get, and we had 1 month already, but the absolute lowest is $56 even. Well, we had that. That's not too bad. I mean, our average is $230. So to go from $230 a month to our average so far has been like $70. So to go from an average of $230 down to an average of $70, I'm okay with that. And the screen keeps dimming. Right here, it shows you what we actually generated today, and you see how it's all choppy. That's because there's a lot of clouds today. Like yesterday, you can see even yesterday we were generating like over 8 kilowatts, and today we only got up over 6. Pretty bad amount. And this shows the usage, and then how much was coming from the grid and how much was going for from the battery. And right here you can see the battery did get up to 9. Oh, the battery did get fully charged today, but right about here, what had happened was, and Steph's going to kill me for saying this, what had happened is she was making dinner, got done using the oven, but she forgot to shut the oven off until about right here. No, actually, it's somewhere in there, but anyway, I'm just like, I was walking by, it's on, we're already done eating. I'm like, hey, do we need this on still? Or, I mean, I know that you like the heat, but whatever. And this is what we generate. We got it installed April 10th. So in April, you can see we still generated 800, almost 900 kilowatts in 20 days. And let me see. And then May, we generated a little bit more. June, we generated the most. June's probably going to be the biggest month just because that's when the sun is the highest. Now, the problem is when you get into the summer, June, July, August, you might be generating the most, but you're also using the most because the AC just is running nonstop. The best month actually was April. So although we didn't generate very much, we rarely used the AC or the heat. So it was real nice. And then down here, you can see 6,200 pounds of CO2 is what we saved so far. This whole thing kind of bothers me a little bit because they're not taking any of the cost of the manufacturing of the panels or the batteries or the wiring or, shipping them around or chemical costs or anything like that, because all of that generates CO2 emissions just to produce the things. So I don't really like this. It's not real. Because, you have to mine the lithium in these batteries. Well, that's pretty bad. And it's done in countries that don't have labor laws. And it takes a lot of chemicals to create these, solar cells. It's not as good as what you think it would be. The reason why we're doing it mostly is because we get a lot of power outages here. And that's the biggest problem. And with power outages, I'm tired of that. So we wanted to make sure we had a way to survive. And right now, we'd be in trouble if we had a power outage right now because the battery's already discharged. It's because we're one down. Normally, we'd still be at 50 or 60%. And as it gets cooler, the air conditioning runs less and less. And usually at the end of the night, we're still 25, 30% before it starts charging again in the morning. All right, so it is nighttime. It's getting a little dark in here. And just got done going through all of the solar stuff. If you guys have any questions about that, pretty well versed on it now. Things that aren't really true, things that are true. By the way, I'm not doing it for, to be green or whatever, because the chemical process involved in making these and making the batteries and mining the lithium and everything else, it's really not good. And so, when like, oh, well, you're really helping save the planet. I'm like, yeah, not really. The best thing you could do if you want to really help with conservation is, raising your own food as much as you can. First of all, that's good for self-sustainability. It's good for the soil. It helps keep the soil in better shape, which helps with filtration of water and everything like that, as long as you're not using a bunch of chemicals. And what else? And like I said earlier, looking at doing aquaponic farming. I haven't sold myself on it yet. It's a lot of infrastructure, and basically what it is, you have fish, and the fish water effectively goes through and grows the and you use that, and it has fertilizer in it, and also cleans the water at the same time. So the plants are cleaning the water for the fish, and then the fish are dirtying the water that supplies fertilizer for the you know, for all of the vegetables and things like that to grow. Haven't sold myself on that. That'll probably be a couple of year thing if I decide to do that. Because neither one, Steph and I, are not big fish people. And so it's like, oh yeah, you can raise your own fish, you know, for meat. And I'm like, I don't really care. I grew up eating way too much fish. I'm okay not having it. So I'm going to go ahead and end it off. It's June. It's July 10th, 2022. And you know, work in the morning. So I'm going to get to bed and get my suitcase packed and get ready to get out of here. All right. Hope everybody has a good week. Bye.